Good evening and welcome to Northwest Startup Demo Spring 2011. My name is Steve Johnson. I'm chair of the Startup Demo branch of the Northwest chapter of the MIT Enterprise Forum. I believe there are 27 worldwide chapters of the MIT Enterprise Forum. The Northwest chapter is based here in Seattle, and it consists of 4 branches: the Venture Lab, the Forum events, the Northwest Startup Demo, and the Mix and Mingle events. Just by the way, this is our 9th demo event. We do 2 a year. Well, we've been doing them since June of '07. The Northwest Startup Demo is sponsored by Adobe and Amazon Web Services, both of which will be supplying a nice prize to the winner, and maybe a little something else to all the other participants. We'll see. But anyway, the event is, as usual, held in partnership with a number of the angel organizations in the area. Those are the Alliance of Angels, the Keiretsu Forum, the Puget Sound Venture Club, Seraph Capital Forum, the Tacoma Angel Network, and the Xeno Society. And now I'd like to introduce our judges. From our partner organizations, from the Alliance of Angels, we have Greg Huey. From Keiretsu Forum, we have Harry Lee. From the Puget Sound Venture Club, we have Gary Rittner. From Seraph Capital Forum, we have Elizabeth Coppinger. And from the Xeno Society, we have Kathy Hatch. And then we have 3 special guest judges. Is Bill still parking his car? I think so. We have Bill Bryant from Draper Fisher Jurvetson. We have John Cook from GeekWire. And we have Kurt Woodward from Xconomy. Before I introduce Ed Hansen, who is the current vice chair of Demo, I just want to mention this is my last event as Demo chair. Fortunately, things are going very well for my company, Snowflake ITM, some of you are aware of, and both with the product and with the patent office, which is really nice. So working on that. So check out our website if you want to. It's snowflakeitm.com, and register to become part of the Snowflake universe. But anyway, now I'd like to introduce Ed Hansen, the current vice chair of the demo event and next year's chair.
All right, thanks, Steve. What Steve doesn't know, so he's been, many of you know him, he's been in the Venture Lab forever, and was definitely the driving force in creating Demo as its own branch. What he doesn't know yet is that the chapter is actually nominating him for Volunteer of the Year recognition from the mothership back at MIT. So congratulations, Steve. Thanks for all your help. All right, so every year I really enjoy putting on these demos. It's if you look at the data, just about every job that's created in this country comes from small business. Pretty much all innovation, all new creations, all new visions of the future come from startups. And that's really the goal of today, is to get a handful of companies up here to show us what's coming, what is in our future. And every company who's presenting, the one goal they have is to have you all walking out thinking, wow, this is really cool. I'm really excited about stuff that's happening. I'm so glad I'm raising my kids in a world where these things are going to be possible. And that's what we're hoping that these companies are going to do today. So pretty high bar, guys. One thing interesting, and this is the 3rd step in our process. So we've been looking at companies for a while, trying to figure out which are the 6 we're going to invite here. And I always get a kick out of the range of companies who submit. And this year, we found that about a third of our submissions were what I would call internet companies, whether it was a tool, whether it was a site, whether it was somehow social media oriented. So about a third of our companies, that's what they're doing. The second third were really broken into 2 groups. One was enterprise software, which I'm convinced in Seattle will never go away. We'll continue to see enterprise software apps and applications forever. But the other half of that were mobile apps, which just a year ago were a minuscule little percentage of our submissions, but just about a 1/6 were this year. And then the last third, and this is also interesting because this is a change from what we've seen in the past, but the last third were basically stuff. It was basically hardware devices, medical devices, engines, which typically we get an engine a year, but we had like 4 or 5 this year, which is really interesting. For whatever reason, people are starting to think about engines and things again. And then the last little bit was what I would call consumer software, which, again, when we first started this, was most of what we got was consumer software and enterprise software. So it's interesting just how things have changed over the years. The way the demos are going to work tonight, so each of these 6 companies is going to come up, they're going to demo. They're not giving you a pitch, they're just going to show you their products. They're going to get 8 minutes, no PowerPoint presentations, just show us your stuff, show us what you got. At the end of those 8 minutes, we will cut them off. They will get 5 minutes of Q&A with the judges. And then as Steve mentioned, once all 6 have finished, the judges will go to the back. We'll bring all the entrepreneurs back up to the front. And then that's when you guys have the chance to ask your questions.
Hi, good evening. I'm Chip Corbin, the president, CEO, and also the inventor of this technology I'm going to show you today, which is I would call it the ultimate in hardware, with a little bit of a lot of a spin on energy efficiency. And what we're really dealing with here is a product that allows us to take what is out there. 60% of the U.S. is basically, or motors out there are consuming energy. It's a huge percentage of the total energy being produced in the United States is actually being consumed by these motors. What FluxDrive's been able to do is take these motors and allow the output speed of whatever they're driving. In most cases, it's a blower, a pump, or it could be a gearbox, a conveyor system, and vary that speed of that particular system. The other alternative is to use some type of throttling valve or flow control device to regulate the output of that pump or blower. What happens is when we speed the system down or slow the system down with the use of the flux drive in between this motor and the blower or the motor and the pump, we save lots of energy. We can save up to 70% energy by slowing this system down. On this device here, I can actually show you, and I'll have to read it for you, but it's actually saying 420 watts is being consumed. Now, if I speed up the device by pushing the rotor into the magnetic assembly, the fan starts blowing harder. Now I've got 665 watts of power. So I can almost get this right up to full speed. And at this full speed condition, we're actually running at 98.5% efficient, which is really where the flux drive shines and why it is such an alternative to other types of variable speed systems out there on the market today.
Hello, my name is Ken Weston. I'm the founder of ActiveTrack. It's a little embarrassing. We had a really great presentation prepared for you guys today. We actually drove up here from Portland, stopped off for lunch, and this is what we saw. Someone smashed my window, stole my laptop as well as my phone. It's pretty disturbing for me. Not only did I lose my presentation, I also had some a lot of source code, basically for my company. Could be ruined. I had financial information. We also had a lot of our customer records on there with social security numbers and credit card numbers. So you can imagine what we're up against. But you know, I'm a half glass full kind of guy, so it actually provides me with an opportunity to explain what our software does. We make software that actually tracks down people that do this. Our software allows you to track down your laptop as well as remotely wipe all information from that device and make sure it's securely backed up. What's nice too is that we can actually remotely wipe all information from that device. So if I have sensitive information on my phone, I can go ahead and remotely wipe everything from it, but I don't need to worry because I've securely encrypted that information and backed it up into the cloud at the same time. My contacts, my photos, all my sensitive information is safe.
I'm Matthew Sutton. I'm the president of iSheet Music. And something I've been thinking about for a while is how little sheet music has changed and the way people deal with sheet music over the last few hundred years. Really, since sheet music was invented, we've gone from parchment to paper, and now you can buy it online and print out a song, so you don't have to go to the store. What we've done is create a really new interactive way of interacting with sheet music that's just a lot more fun. Now, of course, it's a computer, so you can carry around all your music with you. You can have hundreds, dozens, thousands of songs in here. You can sort by the song title, by the artist name, genre, composer. You can even build set lists so that if you're playing with friends, you can just go down a line of songs. Another great idea that came to me from a friend who's a choral director was to actually make it play each of the parts from a chorus. And so each of the soprano, the alto, the tenor, and the bass can either listen to their own part by themselves, or they can sing along with the other parts, so they can really focus on tuning up their part. We are just about to go to market. We're working with Apple right now. We're in process of review with them.
My name is Tim Heriter, and I'm the president of Hypershow Limited. Thanks for the opportunity to show you some of the things we're up to. Hypershow is a developer of software tools and services that enable the Hollywood studios and broadcasters to deliver their movies and TV shows as individual applications that can be purchased or rented to consumers, streamed, downloaded to a variety of devices. And the key is that when you make a TV show or a movie into an application, it's very different to the consumer than when they go to Netflix, for example, and rent a movie or purchase and download a movie from Amazon. Because in those scenarios, what you're getting as a consumer is just the video. And that video is surrounded by either the service provider's user interface, like Netflix, or the player, like Windows Media Player or iTunes. And so the consumer sees the value in that service, like Netflix, or the player, and less in the actual individual unique experience provided by the video content. Now that's very different than, say, a Blu-ray or a DVD, where you go in a store and you buy a packaged good and you as a consumer know exactly what that is. That's a unique experience that's different for every movie that you're going to buy. And as a result, you're willing to pay a little bit more money for that. And that's what Hypershow enables the studios and broadcasters to do, make more money off of those movies because they're unique interactive experiences rather than kind of generic movies or TV shows presented in somebody else's UI. So the first thing I'm going to show you here is the Windows Phone 7 application from Paramount of the School of Rock. And this is for sale for $9.99 on the Windows Marketplace, Windows Phone Marketplace right now. You install it, you purchase it, install it, and then it starts automatically pulling down all that video, audio, graphics, and metadata assets. Then after a little bit it has been pulled down, you can start playing around with it. So you see here, it's a very rich experience, rich menuing. Has most of the things you would expect out of interactive experience, things like bonus videos, trailers. There's, of course, the ability to navigate through chapters, make bookmarks. But then there are a few interesting things here. One is this what's new area. And because these are all networked and electronic applications, we can update anything at any time. So for example, Paramount can update these trailers and promotions whenever they want. So if I open this up a year from now, Paramount pushes down the most recent things that are more relevant to you, including movies in the theaters or things available on even DVD and Blu-ray or electronic products. The other thing is this My Clips area, where you can actually make free-form clips of the movie and share those in various ways. Say you're watching Star Trek and you want to buy a phaser. Well, you can go click on the phaser and then go buy it. And that's what the studios are counting on.
Good evening. I'm Brian Glaister. This is Chia Kawahara, and we're with Cadence Biomedical. And we're developing a new class of products called a kinetic orthosis that can help the most severely disabled people avoid having to use a wheelchair and instead walk independently. Now, there are about 2.3 million people in the US that have very severe disabilities, but still maintain some level of control and strength in their legs. Just not enough to walk on their own. And they don't really have an alternative other than to use a wheelchair. So we've designed this device we call a kinetic orthosis. And the way it works is that it captures the energy you typically waste during the beginning of a step, then recycles that to do something good at the end. And it has a proprietary system of a long spring and a couple of pulleys. And when you start to take a step, the spring will stretch and store energy. And then when you're at the end of a step, it will return that energy to propel you forward and lift your leg in preparation for your next step. Now, we've tried this with 8 people with disabilities at this point, ranging from ALS to multiple sclerosis to muscular dystrophy. And what we found is that across the board, regardless of your medical condition, it can improve your stability and amplify your muscle strength. But for the people who are so impaired that they can't walk with a walker anymore, but they don't want to get in a wheelchair, if they're using this device, then it can improve their walking duration and their independence. And they are enthusiastically willing to adopt the technology.
My name is Matt Fitzsimmons. I'm CEO at iHear Network. I'm here to show you how our mobile app will help you get back in touch with what's going on in your community. So how many people here have read at least one update from a social network over the past 3 days? Almost everybody, right? Now, how many people here have actually talked to one of their neighbors in the past 3 days? Well, okay, you guys are very social, but let's just, all right, just bear with me here. All right, so there's this notion that we're connected alone. I think Rebecca Lavelle gave that phrase to me. We're connected alone. We're members of social networks, but we're disconnected from what's going on right in our community. You probably know more about what your friend in Florida had for breakfast this morning than you do about what's going on just right across the street at the diner. And so at I Hear Network, we're here to help solve this problem by making content created in your community easy to consume.
Welcome to I Hear Network.
I'm going to move this back just a little bit.
Plutarch.com movie nights TVA. I live at the Astoria today at 7 p.m.
So it's reading the tweets out loud to you right now. And it does this instantaneously. This is a new way to kind of get information. But let me just kind of point out what we have going on the interface here. On the right, you see the map. That shows you the origination of the tweet. So let's say somebody's tweeting down in Safeco Field. Maybe they're tweeting about the Mariners. It gives you an idea of what people are up to throughout the day. On the left side here, we have a radius slider that allows you to adjust the size of the listening area that the content is being presented to you. And if you press and hold anywhere on the map, you'll be redirected to that location and immediately start hearing content.
On my sides.
So as you can hear it talking to you, yeah, I mean, this is people talking about a lot of different things on Twitter, right? So let's listen to some tweets, huh? How about it?
If I paint flames on my sides, will my body decay faster? Potential client meeting. Wish me luck.
So I can control the playback similar to any media player. We're really excited about where this stuff is going, and we have 2 provisional patents. Let me see here. One other thing I want to show you is in the features, you can adjust the voice, the pitch, the speed, and the rate of the content that you're hearing. And you can also choose whether you want to hear new tweets only or not.
Let's get right down to it. The judges thought all of you did a great job. Very strong company, solid panel of presenters. But the voting came out, and the winner turned out to be Active Track. So we have a little trophy for you here, and I'm sure you can get clued in with, isn't that nice looking? That's very cool, yeah. So I'm sure you can get hooked in with Adobe. Hannah can hook you in. There's a software suite that they are providing, and Amazon Web Services. Thank you all very much. Congratulations. Yeah. Thank you guys for attending.